Hypnosis with real clients facing genuine issues. Brought to you by the hypnotherapist demanded by celebrities, CEOs, and even royalty, Adam Cox. These recordings took place live from Adam's clinic in London's world-famous Harley Street. So, get yourself comfortable and enjoy today's episode of The Hypnotist.
Hi, it's Adam here, and in this episode of The Hypnotist, you're going to be listening to a hypnosis session all about creating a powerful, positive sense of optimism and worthiness to find a relationship, not a relationship of settling, but a relationship that really feels that you've hit the jackpot. And I was working with a client that had feelings of loneliness and sadness because they really wanted a passionate, loving, connected relationship, but they weren't in that place. And there was a feeling of feeling tired and kind of jaded and kind of what's the point? And part of that was circular because they were linking this idea of the dates not leading to the kind of relationship that they want, that it was a reflection of their self-worth rather than the other way around, which is that it just wasn't kind of connecting and that they were good enough, but it just wasn't leading to the kind of relationships that they were wanting. So what this is really about is an element of feeling worthy to not just date, but to go on dates that could lead to a wonderful relationship that is desirable, passionate, and loving for them. And for them, part of their criteria was someone that is healthy, active, with a sense of adventure, likes hiking and going on boats and those kind of things. So I use that to almost do future pacing in reverse. So seeing them in an amazing relationship, seeing a photo of a time that gives them evidence that they are adventurous and outdoorsy, that would lead to that, and then the very dates that would have found that type of person. So it's almost like working backwards. And it connects to this idea of starting with the end in mind, which is a powerful way to unleash the resources. Because if you know what you want and you know that that thing is desirable and you value it, you massively increase the thoughts, ideas, and strategies to increase the probability of having that particular thing. And that's the essence of this session. It was to help a male client find a female partner that they would want to be in a long-term exclusive relationship with. And it might be that you want to be in a relationship or you want to feel worthy to be in a relationship, in which case this session might be very useful for you. But just bear in mind that it was created for an individual, and some of these references like dating sites and boating and those kind of things might not quite relate to you because it's a different situation. They wanted a long-term relationship. Maybe you don't. Maybe you want lots of short-term relationships. You get to choose. So this session may be helpful, but if you do like the idea of a bespoke session working with me directly, then there will be a link in the description where you can schedule that free consultation call to explore working with me. For now, though, find a quiet, comfortable place where you won't be disturbed, relax, and enjoy the session. Take a deep breath in. And as you breathe in that slow, long, relaxing breath. And as you exhale, just allow any feelings of stress, worry, or tension to feel like it's leaving your body in that outward breath. That's it. And quickly scan your body for any clues of tension. Perhaps there, your forehead, your jaw, your neck or your shoulders. Just get a sense of releasing that tension. allowing it to feel like it's leaving your body in that outward breath, just dissipating, dissolving, and releasing in that exhale. And as you bring your attention to the tension, allow the tension to be released. Feel it leaving your body as you breathe in relaxation and continue to exhale that stress, worry, or tension. And I want you to think of what color would best represent worthiness and self-acceptance. And maybe it's one color or a combination of two. And when you can think of that bright color that represents worthiness and self-acceptance, let me know by nodding your head. That's it. And just imagine breathing in that bright color of worthiness and self-acceptance. Feel how you would feel if it was going in through your nose into your lungs. But imagine on the outward breath, you are releasing the opposite. Any insecurities, any feelings of low self-worth, just allow that to leave your body as grey shadows in your outward breath. Breathing in the worthiness and exhaling any of those things that feel like judgment, inferiority, that feel somehow bringing you down to low self-worth. It's not a case of what if they're wrong. They are wrong. False evaluations. There are smart people that were told they were stupid, believe they're stupid. But what if by believing that they're stupid, they don't even attempt to do those things that would require the very intelligence that they have in abundance? And if that's true, that smart people can believe they're stupid, it's also true that confident, worthy people, valuable people, could believe that they are unworthy, not good enough. And it's those thoughts that are the shadows that you are exhaling in that outward breath. Continue to breathe in that feeling of worthiness, self-acceptance, that bright light, and exhale those shadows. As you consider this a transfusion of self-worth, breathing in the self-worth and exhaling any doubts, any insecurities. Just allow them to leave your body in that outward breath. That's it. Deeper and deeper relaxed. And I want you to use the power of your imagination to imagine a crystal ball. The kind of crystal ball that fortune tellers might use as a prop in a circus tent. I want you to see the size of it, the location of it, maybe on a table that you know. As you breathe in that self-worth and exhale those self-doubts, I want you to imagine staring into that crystal ball. And I want you to see yourself 2 or 3 years into the future. But I want you to see a version of you oozing confidence and smiling broadly. I want you to see a version of you that is happy and connected. And as you stare into that crystal ball, seeing your own future, I want you to see yourself in a shared home. A home where it isn't just yours, but you live in this home with someone that you are in a long-term, exclusive, committed relationship. And there'll be clues, pictures on the wall, a car parked outside, even things like the decoration and the furniture. I want you to get a sense that choices here are based on agreements. It's not quite your home, it's not quite their home, it's a shared home. And as you look into that crystal ball, I want you to imagine seeing a bedroom where an alarm clock is alerting you to wake up. And I want you to imagine seeing yourself waking up alongside your partner. I want you to see you smiling. Maybe there's a hug, a kiss, some kind of phrase, maybe like good morning in a particular tone, that lets you know that you are loving and loved simultaneously. I want you to see yourself in a relationship that you're happy to be in. That even if you could date and see anyone else, you don't want that. I want you to see yourself in a future where you're happy to be in that exclusive, committed, connected relationship. And I want you to see that because you're in that relationship, everything about you seems to be amplified positively. You look healthier, happier. There is an energy, an aura to you that is oozing confidence, self-assurance, and a feeling of gratitude. And somewhere in this home, perhaps in a lounge or a dining room, is a wall of photos. Photos of adventures spent together before you were living together. And one of these photos is a photo on a boat. And maybe it's a selfie taken where both of you are on that boat want you to get a sense of how good it feels seeing that version of you with someone that shares a sense of adventure. And there's clues. The clothes they're wearing, the smile on board that boat. They're not faking it. They're not pretending to like this adventure and activities. You can tell their values align with your values. This is someone that likes the outdoors, likes to eat well, be active. But imagine stepping into that picture. You're now an invisible entity also on the boat, seeing yourself like you're someone else. And I want you to see evidence from them of a kind, loving, considerate and respectful nature. But also evidence from you, that version of you on that boat, that they are confident, self-assured, purposeful. And if you can see in that crucial stepping stone before that relationship became more long-term, that it gave you clues that it was the kind of relationship that you would have been happy with, just let me know by nodding your head. And I want you to imagine stepping into that version of you, feeling that level of confidence, self-assurance. You accepted yourself. You felt very comfortable being you. But I want you to pay attention to your self-dialogue, that voice inside, and notice. No criticism. Notice how complimentary it is. Consider it an encouraging, supportive voice, pointing out positive qualities in them, but also positive qualities in yourself. I want you to get a sense that what if this is part of your own evolution? To learn to like, love, and respect yourself as a crucial stepping stone, so that when you find someone that likes, loves, and respects you also, you can accept it fully, completely. I want you to leave that photo and then just imagine finding an old phone, an old tablet, perhaps in that future home of yours. And I want you to find a place on that phone of an old dating profile or app that you hadn't logged into for a while, or a messaging platform. And I want you to imagine going back 2 years or so, seeing the messages, the interactions, with dates that led to this future relationship. And you realize it wasn't a case that you went on one date and found the ideal relationship. You felt confident, worthy. using dating not as a distraction, but purposefully and intentionally to find that ideal relationship for you. I want you to get a sense that it was discernment that led to this ideal relationship. Discernment on who to message, who to date, who to follow up with, but also tenacity, a sense of listening to your intuition. That when you thought there might be the possibility of that long-term relationship, you confidently and directly made the effort to create a wonderful self-fulfilling prophecy. I want you to get a sense that there is a cause and effect relationship. In order to go on these dates, you needed to be proactive, tenacious, and you needed to believe in your future value in advance. To be the very person you would need to be to attract the kind of person you would want to be with. There is no settling, no lowering of standards. Either they make the grade and meet your standards, or they don't. And anyone that wouldn't want you, well, then you're lucky that you avoided a relationship with someone like that. I want you to get a sense that you are now unleashing a new level of playfulness, fun, and optimism to create a wonderful chain reaction. The playfulness leads to the dates. The dates leads to reflection of what to accept and what to change. And by you accepting and changing, you learn to appreciate, like yourself, and love yourself to a whole new level. And the absence of critical inner dialogue, especially when dating, is the canary in the coal mine to show you that you're making progress. You can enjoy the journey to a wonderful destination. And by doing so, you increase the very probability of finding someone that makes you no longer want to go on dating apps ever again. I want you to get a sense that all of this starts with a deep conviction. Not that it's possible for you to find that long-term relationship, but that it's inevitable. It simply will happen. And all you're doing is loading the dice to increase the probability that it happens sooner rather than later. And if your unconscious is willing to unlock all of the beliefs, resources, and strategies required to create a wonderful self-fulfilling prophecy, to give you the very relationship that you desire and deserve, let me know by nodding your head. That's it. And then imagine putting that device down, walking back up to that bedroom, and imagine that it is now the evening. And just imagine that you're falling asleep with that person that you love, care for, and want to be with. And maybe you fall asleep with a big smile on your face, feeling that this is now the coordinates in a sat-nav for your unconscious mind, that your unconscious now knows exactly what you want and will unleash and unlock all of the resources required to steer you in this direction. But it's time to leave this thought as you start to reconnect and calibrate with your present, knowing where your future is taking you. So take a deep breath in through your nose and out through your nose. Just wiggle your fingers and wiggle your toes, connect and calibrate into the here and the now. That's it, as I now count from 1 to 10 to awaken you. Starting to count. 1, 2, 3, waking up. 4, 5, 6, more alert. 7, 8, open your eyes, open your eyes. 9, 10, wide awake, wide awake, wide awake. Thank you so much for joining me on this episode of The Hypnotist. And if you've got some value from this episode, I'd like to ask a favor. And that is that all of the platforms have some way of you telling us that you like it. And that might be hitting the like button, that might be giving it a 5-star rating or a short review. And if it's possible, and it is on Spotify and YouTube, if you can drop a comment with what value you got from the show or anything you liked in particular, that really helps the algorithm to put it in front of new people. Thank you so much again for joining me on this episode, and I'll see you again soon in the next one.